Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus, and as you can see, today it's all about Ghost Stories, the base game, no expansions whatsoever. A couple of disclaimers here. I haven't played this game for quite a while. I really had to reread all the rules. I'm starting pretty much from scratch, learning the game. Again, I did play it back in the day when I got it really years ago, and I think I didn't really beat it an awful lot of times. I also played the digital version, not even sure if that's still around or not, but yeah. Again, I'm starting pretty much from scratch today. The second disclaimer is I'm going with a solo mode, which I have never played before, so also not sure how things go. That's also the reason why I decided to start the game or play the game at the initiation level, which means I have all the 5 tail tokens out there. I have 4 chi points out there, for example. In respect to the setup of the solo mode, I removed the 15 cards. I chose one incarnation of, oh, what's his name? It's not Lopan, right? Rufeng in this case. And that's basically the one thing I would have loved to see would be a proper reskin using, I don't know, Big Trouble in Little China here, for example. Would have been the perfect reskin for this game, actually, but we will go with it. It's Wu Feng, not Lo Pan. And yeah, I think with that being said, we should be able, or I should be able to start the game. I typically tend to forget that at the start of the video. Really a huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members out there. Really do appreciate all your support. Whoever out there who wants to support me, definitely check out my page on Patreon or join me here directly on YouTube. Right now, there is an exclusive giveaway for channel members and patrons out there, so there might persuade you to check it out. And yeah, with that being said, let's get cracking. I already set up the board, and randomly I assigned the blue player to myself. I pretty much rolled one of the dice until it showed one of the basic colors, one of the 4 basic colors in this case, and I ended up with the blue one. I also randomized the, let's say, ability of the blue character here. So in this case, I'm allowed to pretty much do both, use the aid of a villager and attack a ghost, or exercise a ghost in that case, so that could be definitely beneficial. So I think I need more action, so that's a good thing. I also have, what are those called, neutral power tokens here, 3, which help me to leverage the, let's say, the boards of the neutral players out there, which are also randomized in respect to their abilities. They all start the game with 3 chi tokens each. They can in theory die, and unlike in a, let's say, normal multiplayer game, I'm not able to revive them. So in the solo mode, the graveyard here is pretty much useless. And there's also one additional rule in respect to the pavilion of the heavenly winds down here, which first of all allows you to move a ghost to any other space on the board, including a space with one of those nice Buddha tokens here. And again, the components here are top notch, and they also allow me to typically move another monk to a different space, but in this solo mode I'm also allowed to basically move myself somewhere else, so that's definitely useful. The board, or rather the village tiles here, are also completely random out there. I really didn't look. Again, the graveyard doesn't do me any good. Apart from that, everything else is definitely fully usable for me. And I think with that being said, we should be able to go. Not sure if you are familiar with the game or not, but ultimately we are trying to defeat Wu Feng here, which is pretty much the 11th card from the bottom of this deck. So we have to really defeat an awful lot of those ghosts, or deal with an awful lot of those ghosts, and before he basically appears here somewhere on the board. And when he appears, or they appear, I think we then have pretty much, let's call it 10 turns in order to defeat him, because if we are running out while Wu Feng is still out here on the board, we will lose the game. We will also lose the game if we are losing our last chi token. Again, in the solo mode, that's pretty much game over. It's the same for the multiplayer mode, but there individual monks can die, actually, because you can revive them. And I think the last lose condition is pretty much when 3 of those village tiles are haunted, then we have also immediately lost the game. So there again, as it is common for a good cooperative game, you have a lot of ways to lose the game, but usually only one. small or maybe two ways to win this. In this case, it's really just one way. We have to go through this deck. We have to defeat Wu Fang. And there are 10 different, how are they called, incarnations of him or her. So we don't know what's coming out. That's really something which I totally like. So the replayability in a game like this, with the custom board here, with the two-sided monk boards, with the deck here, it is really more or less endless. Okay, so I think with that being said, we should be able to start the game. I think the solo player always goes first. So let's move into the first yin phase of the game. First of all, we are checking, are there any active ghosts? They are not. We have just started the game. Not even sure if on the, let's say, higher difficulty levels, if you start with actual ghosts out there. I think not, actually. I think you only do stuff in respect to how you stage the game. So there could be multiple incarnations of Wu Fang in the deck, for example. Okay, so we can basically step over or skip the ghost action step. Next is we would check again if there are any haunted ghosts. There are not. Then we would check, is our board overrun, which would be the case when there would be already 3 ghosts out there. Then we would lose 1 life point, 1 chi, and then yeah, we would skip over the next step. In this case, it's rather simple. We will have an arrival of a ghost because we can have a ghost to arrive, and that's a red ghost. It's the raging one. I mean, we have removed 15 ghosts from the deck, and this would have been one of the ghosts which I would have enjoyed removing, actually, because that's a very strong ghost to defeat. It needs 4, let's say, red successes. Every time this ghost gets activated, basically in 2 more turns, we are rolling the curse die here, where more terrible stuff can happen. So yeah, that's really not a great start. Because it's a red ghost, we have to place it on the red player's board or neutral player board. And again, we can right now choose, and starting with the corner location typically is not a bad thing, because ultimately we are able to fight 2 ghosts at the same time. Now with the 4 ghosts, maybe not. I think a ghost with a strength of 4 is very unlikely to beat in combination with another ghost. So I think in this case there might be a good reason not to place him to a corner location. And again, if you are in a corner location and there are ghosts in each of those adjacent zones here, then you can in theory fight them both if you want. But again, with such a strong ghost, I think that's not gonna happen. Okay, and that was basically our ghost arrival steps of the yin phase. So we are moving into the yang phase, which is now our turn. The first thing that we are allowed to do is to move. That's fully optional. So in theory, we can stay here and yeah, I think liberate one of those tiles. Right now, there aren't any haunted tiles out there, so we can basically, there's nothing really to gain here other than maybe adding another ghost, and I guess that's not a good idea. So the next idea could be to move 1 space up here, and you can move up to 1 space, and diagonal movement counts in this case. So from the central location you can basically move everywhere. So we could move in here, and with our special power, we could basically do both. But this would mean we have to add another ghost. So the abilities of those village tiles are really crucial. This one gives us 1 life point, 1 chi. That's already a good thing. Then we can choose 1 Tao token, which pretty much replaces a dice face and could be incredibly important for the red ghost. But we also have to bring out another ghost. That's pretty much the price you have to pay. And I think, what's the location's name? I keep forgetting those. That's the tea house. Yes, we are taking a rest, and because the ghosts never take a rest, which means yeah, we are sitting down here drinking a nice cup of tea, green tea I guess, and yeah, in the meantime some more ghosts will appear. We could, of course, simply ignore everything and do some more preparation move work, for example. So we could move in here, for example, to place a Tau token here, which then really weakens the defense of all the ghosts of the same color. That's a circle of prayer, by the way. So let's say we are placing a red token in here, which means all ghosts out there are pretty much weakened by 1 red ghost, which could be for the raging one, could be crucial, for example. It's a nice thing, and maybe with our next turn we could go there. So that's definitely something to consider too. But the main problem remains, this ghost will activate and then we will have to roll that die here. And that's something which I currently don't necessarily like. And we want to move through the deck as quickly as possible too. So having some more ghosts out there is also not the end of the world. It gives you some flexibility. You can really deal with stuff, especially with our special power. I think let's do that. With our optional move, we are moving here to the tea house. And again, because we are the blue player with power, we can basically use both. We can exercise and we can use this thing. So I guess we are taking one more life point, and we can have more than our starting life points in this game. They are really only limited in respect to how many tokens there are. In a solo game, I'm pretty sure that's not a concern. Then we are taking one red token here. But also, there is no limit other than the tokens that are available. There are 2 left in the supply right now. But then we have to bring out a new ghost. That's this symbol here. So let's see. That's a blue. Are you kidding me? Another 4 strength form, the Fury of Depth. Basically the same ghost, but only requires 4 blue instead of 4 red. You must be kidding me. And this guy or this fella goes to our board because, yeah, it's a blue ghost. I think we will also put it here to the central space, actually. That was pretty bad. I mean, these higher or stronger ghosts, having 2 out of those, again, we have removed 15 ghosts, and I shuffled the heck out of this deck, and I don't know which ghosts I removed, and it seems I really removed some of the, let's say, easier ghosts from the deck. Yeah, that's a great start. Okay, then let's move into, we are still, again, we are the blue player, we can do both, so I guess it's time to fight. All right, so we are right now, we have all 3 of our, I think, Tau dice, these are called, and we are pretty much looking for red or white symbols. White is a wild card, red is the color we need for the Raging One here. We need to roll at least 2 red and or white, because again, we have 2 of these red Tau tokens with us. So I think maybe, yeah, there's a chance, there's at least a chance. And yeah, that was not a great thing, and it's not a Yahtzee style game. You're not allowed to roll whatever once or twice or so. There are abilities where you can do that. In theory, the green player's power would allow us to re-roll that, but of course then we would have to start using our neutral power tokens here, and I think, right, I think I have to really check the rules real quick. And yes, that's the case. So we could roll basically all our dice. We can even hold on to dice. So let's say we would have rolled 1 red die. We could then keep the red die. But we have brought out a ghost now for this action. So I think it might be worth it. So we are spending 1 of our neutral power tokens. And the good thing, they are not lost forever. They simply go to the center of the board, and whenever we are ending our movement here, we will basically be allowed to take them. So let's re-roll all of those dice. I mean, that's a great start. And I'm already regretting my life choices here. So let's re-roll those. And that's more like it. Cool. So we have basically a wild card and a red. Again, we need 4 tokens. So I think in this case, we will totally spend our 2 Tau tokens here, the red ones, and then this means this ghost is defeated. It even comes with a reward, and that's either to reclaim our Yin Yang token, which we haven't used yet, so this is pretty much a moot point, but we will be able to get another Chi token for that, and we have just defeated our very first ghost, and it was a strong one, so I think that wasn't a bad start at all. But that's basically the end of our turn. We are moving now to our neutral players. No one here, no one here, no one here. We are only doing the first 2 steps of each of the yin phase. So we check for overrun, we check for the ghost special abilities. Right now there aren't any out there, which means we are pretty much going back to our turn again, starting with the yin yang phase. First of all, we are triggering the ability of the Fury of Depth here, which in this case means we have to roll the curse die, and bam! Yeah, that's a great start. So they are pretty much cursing, or rather haunting, the tile that's directly in front of them. Again, we could move back. Where can we? Here to unhaunt this one, to liberate this. So right now it's so the villagers have abandoned the place here, and we can no longer use it. And again, if 2 more of those are basically flipped over, we will automatically lose the game. Then we will check for overrun. There is no overrun here in this case. No, I think the overrun is the first step we are doing, right? If I recall that. No, first ghost actions, then board overrun, and then we are doing the arrival of the ghost. So let's quickly do that. That's another red, and that's our first haunting, which goes to the red player. Okay, we have to bring out these amazing looking miniatures here. So these guys will start moving down and will start haunting those places. And that's now a particularly bad thing that we have lost basically both of our things. That's pretty terrible, actually. That's pretty terrible. So we could now make a case. Oh, I think that's pretty solid, actually. So we can try to defeat this guy. And with this ability, we could then try to basically, yeah, I think we have a lot of chi tokens. Yeah, I think that's the deal. So with our movement, so we are moving into the Yang phase. With our movement, we are moving in here. I think that's the Sorcerer's Hut or so, right? And I guess, first of all, we will try to defeat the red ghost. We need to roll 3 dice, actually. 3 red dice or white dice. Unless, again, we can re-roll, we can do stuff. Yeah, let's think about I think the other special abilities don't necessarily help us. Maybe the yellow players here, but that's one of those which we have to activate before we move. But if we can take it back, that's really not a big deal. It allows us to take any one of those tower tokens. But I think right now I'm still confident enough to not use it, I guess. No, I think let's hold on to this. Let's hold on to our things for our neutral power tokens when we get into more dire situations. So first of all, oh yeah, but that's such an extremely powerful location here. Yeah, but okay, it is what it is. I will not take it back now. So we will roll the 3 dice. So we will try to exercise this ghost. And we can do these in any order as to prove where we can first go for this and then go for this. So we can simply see how good and bad we are doing. And ooh, that was so close. That was so close. With 1 red token, we would have made it, would have been able to make it. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Yes, we can re-roll that, but 1, no, that's not good. It was so close. This could have been a white. Why not? And we are activating the Sorcerer's Hut. So we are spending 1 of our chi. We have more than enough. I think that's okay. And then we can basically defeat any one of the ghosts anywhere on the board. And because this is one of those that will come back, even it's a little bit easier to defeat than the blue ghost, I think that's the better deal. So we are defeating this guy here, another red ghost, because again, that's one of the ghosts that will come back, will come back. So that's pretty annoying. And that's already the end of our turn. So again, we are moving around the player boards. And again, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. We will come back to our board. We will activate the Fury of Depth. And ooh, what is this? I think we have to get rid of a power token, if I recall that correctly. And nope, it's worse, much worse. We have to discard all our power tokens. So we are losing basically 4 of those tokens. Now I'm relatively happy that I've used the 2 red ones at least. But yeah, I was hoping for the blue one, but that was pretty bad. But apart from that, nothing bad will happen. We will still draw a new ghost after we have checked for overrun, which is not gonna happen here. And that's a black one. And I think a black one needs to go. Are you kidding me? That's so bad. Needs to go to our board if possible. If not, then we can send them anywhere. So what this guy will do is basically immediately haunt the tile. Upon arrival, it will basically haunt the tile. So we can now lose our Buddhas or we can lose our tokens here. Both of those are pretty much equally bad, as we have just lost all our tower tokens. I don't think it's a particularly wise idea to get rid of this. Buddhas are extremely powerful. Maybe that's something, again, I haven't played this game solo actually, so I'm really not sure in respect to any strategy, because I haven't played it for quite some time either. That's really pretty terrible. I mean, I have to move in here now, actually, because we have to start unhaunt those guys, because, again, the next tile we are flipping, we will lose the game. Yeah, this game is mean. Again, that's the easy mode. I think, yeah, let's go for this, right? We need tower tokens. Otherwise, we won't be able to stand any chance here. Again, these guys will be removed. And, yeah, then it's basically to our young phase. We take an action, and honestly, with the lack of any power tokens whatsoever, there is no real chance we will be able to defeat. This one is basically the shapeless evil here is done. So they do something on arrival, and then we gain something if we defeat them. That's easy. This will continue to roll the die. But again, there's really nothing to gain. So I think I will now use the power of the yellow guy here. So we are putting it here, and we are taking, I don't know, I think a blue Tau token for that. That's something before we move, typically. And the idea is to move in here. Because we ended our movement, we gain our power tokens back. So that's at least something. And then we are activating this one here, which means we can liberate one of those locations here. So they are back, the Buddhas are back. So that's, I think, really extremely powerful. But of course, it also comes with a price. We have to spawn a new ghost. And that's another black one. Again, a black one has to go to our location down here, the Dark Wraith. Also a particularly nasty one. There are much easier ghosts in the deck, for sure. And I think we have removed the easier ones from the deck. So far, the minimum was always 3 here. Oh, that's annoying. So, the Dark Wraith comes basically with a haunting, but this special ability takes, no, we are not starting here, we are starting right here. Which means if we are not defeating this fella here, we will then basically, oh, that's so bad. This is going down south so fast. Okay, it basically starts here. So with the next activation, this guy will move and will haunt this location here again. And again, if they both now activate, yeah, we are really in a very tough spot. We are really in a very tough spot. So we could lose the game pretty much with the start of our next turn. And this was already the end of our turn. So basically, yeah, this could be game over. This could be really game over. If we're rolling poor here, and this guy will move in here, then we have automatically lost the game. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is this game really even tougher than I remember? Is it tougher when playing alone? But this is a nightmare. This is a disaster. I mean, we have just moved through, I don't know, 6 cards or 5 cards or so. That's embarrassing. But okay, again, all the other boards are pretty much empty, so nothing to gain there. And I think that was, now when I think about it, maybe I really should have left this guy here to really spread things out, but I was really only drawing blue, red and black ghosts. And again, I only spawn ghosts on my turn, so this was really bad. So we are pretty much coming back to our board, and here I was really hoping I could go in here, get one of those Buddha tokens at least, and maybe get a shot at this guy. But again, with 0 power tokens out there, there's really nothing to gain. So this guy will now activate in here, which means he's haunting that tile. Then he's moving back. Again, we know that this guy is pretty much gone. Yeah, we basically haunted again. And then we are rolling for the Fury of Depth. And okay, that's a nothing. That's the one good thing that can happen in this scenario. So we live for another day. So the other things that we can now think about is, so it's basically, no, now we are checking for the overrun actually. Yes, we have an overrun situation, which means we cannot spawn any more ghosts. So we are losing 1 chi here, but so we are basically down to our starting life value. I think that's still okay-ish. That was the overrun, but again, we are not bringing out new ghosts. That's maybe a mild win. So the next thing that we have to do now is, I think we have to use the power of the yellow player. So we will use again the neutral power token, and we will go for a black one here, right? And we may also need to use maybe our yang token here. And that's just a thing I should have done before, actually. I really forgot that. So you can use your yin and yang token to also re-enable those guys again. So I guess let's still do that. I think that's what, but we are moving in here with that, right? We have gotten this. We could in theory use the special ability from here, and maybe, okay, let's take that back. Let's take that back. So we are still here. we are still here. We will use our yin and yang token now. So this goes back to the supply, but this allows us to pretty much unexhaust the Buddha temple here. So this is something that you can do basically in addition anytime doing. You cannot do it during an action, but before or after an action. So in this case, let's assume we have done that before we moved in here. Then I would have used the yellow player. Then I'm moving down here. And first of all, I will go for the Buddha. I cannot use the Buddha right away, unfortunately. So I can use it at the end of my next turn. And then I guess we have to fight the Dark Wraith here. And we need 3 black results. We have 1 black die. We have a reroll. So I think, we can use multiple of those neutral power tokens, but I think only 1 on each of those. So I cannot use the reroll more than once. Or the same for the yellow power here. So let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much a nightmare. We have to reroll them all again using the green player's power. And are you kidding me? Not even close. Not even close. So it's again not the end of the world. Again, they will prepare moving 1 here, and we could. That's truly terrible. But okay, it is what it is. So again, we would check all the other players, the neutral player boards. Nothing to do there. I think that's really a strange scenario right now. Then we are again moving back to our board. I already start to wonder if the solo mode is any good actually, but okay, let's see about that. So we are activating this ghost. Right now that's still okay. They're simply moving in here. Then we will activate her, the Fury of Death. And another blank. Are you kidding me? Okay, that's extremely lucky. Again, the Shapeless Evil doesn't do anything. Only the middle thing basically is the ongoing effect of Ghost. Then we will check for overrun. Yes, we have an overrun on our board, so we are losing 1 life point. Again, at the end of our turn, we could then use our Buddha token, but I really would love to have our Buddha token in here. So I think we have to do that. I really want to get rid of the Dark Wraith here because that's the ongoing threat. So I might want to consider using the yellow power. Then I don't have the reroll. But okay, that's okay. I will use another black token again using the yellow player's power. We are not moving. That's still okay. It's still part of the movement step. And we could again use them both. I think we can take them both for sure. That's basically what the blue player's power allows us to do. And then we are trying to exercise this fella again, because the next time they will flip this one over. Still, we have our tokens here, so we don't have to lose those. And we need 1 white or 1 black. And you must be kidding me. I hate this game. Yeah, this doesn't do us anything. This is so bad. I mean, we have 2 black tokens. We needed 1. But yeah, these are dice-based games, so what am I complaining about? Okay, at the end of my activation, I will place the Buddha in here. It has to go to an adjacent space, or where I am, so I could not go put it up there. But ideally, I would have defeated this guy. Then I could have placed both Buddha tokens in here. But apparently, this is not gonna happen. Again, we would move around the board, moving back to us. We will activate this guy, which means, again, this goes down. Again, not the end of the world. The problem now is, though they go back, that's cool. We have to roll for the Fury of Depth. And now both of those locations are blocked again, which means, yes, you know the drill. We will roll the black die. And okay, that's okay-ish, I would say. The problem is we are losing 1 here, right? Then we will check for an overrun. Oh yeah, guess what? We are basically down to 1 chief. That's gone. We will lose the game as well. So wow, this is so much tougher than I remember this game. And then there weren't a lot of choices I was able to do, actually. Yes, maybe the first 1 or 2 things were already crucial. I mean, I defeated 2 ghosts already, but that's really a toughie. We are not bringing out any more ghosts in this case. Which means we are not progressing through the game. Can we heal somewhere? Yes, we can heal at the tea house. But I really have to get rid of this guy now, because that's really a problem. Again, this guy already would lose, could make us lose the game with 2 phases here, actually. So I guess, yeah, we are not moving. We cannot use the power here. We cannot use the power of the yellow player either. And also not of the green player. So that was maybe really a stupid idea. So we will try to exercise the Dark Wraith here. And yes, that's at least something. So we have 2, we are spending 1. That's good enough. So we have taken care of this one here. We are getting the reward. So now, would we go for the... Oh, do we want life point now? Or do we want the chi token? We have another 2 chi tokens, which we... yin yang token here. So I think we need the life point actually, because otherwise I would lose the game right away. Yeah, I think so. Wow, what an amazing turn of events. Then I will totally place the Buddha in here at the end of my turn. I'm allowed to do that. And then again, we are moving around the board. Nothing to gain here. We are moving back to our board here. But the problem remains, if we are rolling a haunted location, we will lose the game either way. So that's really a bad one here. And that's another chi we are losing. Oh, wow. So I'm really happy that we have used or leveraged this one. Then we will check for overrun. There is no overrun. That's at least a small comfort. And then we are bringing out a new ghost, and that's an easier one, the Abysmal, which is relatively easy to defeat with only 2. But when we defeat them, normally we would have to roll the curse die right away. But of course we have to place it to our board. The only space that is available is this Buddha token here, which means boof, this ghost gets defeated right away. We are not triggering the penalty, the curse here, but the Buddha would go back to the Buddha temple. The Buddha temple is basically haunted, so it goes back to the supply and will come back once we have liberated this location here. Okay, now it's our turn again. And then I have 2 things to worry about. First of all, of course, our life point. So I could go to the tea house, gain another life point. I could even go for one of those tokens, maybe a blue one in this case. And we would spawn another ghost, which may not be the end of the world. Maybe, again, we have to draw something else. Maybe a green one, which we could immediately defeat. So that's maybe a potential thing. The problem is, if the Fury of Depth down here would roll the Haunted, we will then flip over this one here, and then we would automatically lose the game. This is a 1 in a 6 chance, of course. The same is true for the life point. We need life points for other stuff too. And getting an additional token, oh no, I cannot go there. I cannot go there. I cannot fly. The red player could go there. That's really the one thing with the red player's power. We could fly over there, and we don't have. No, I think that's then a discussion which we don't have to take. So we will basically move in here. We will, because we ended our movement, we will take all those tokens with us, right? Can we take them all, or is it only... Oh, maybe I played that incorrectly. No, we are good. When a terrorist ends his turn on the central tile, ends his turn. Okay, so they're not basically... We cannot use them right away. But I think that's also not a problem right now, because we are not fighting and everything. So I think we should be okay in this case. So I will place them next to my board so I don't forget them. So I can take them all. That only matters in, let's say, if you're playing with 2 or 3 players, so that you may want to leave these neutral power tokens behind for other players. Okay, then we have to deal with the central tile here. So we can revert those back. And the question is, do we want this or do we want that? That's pretty cool, because it allows us to move a ghost to a Buddha, for example. I think that's a cool thing. And again, because this is so crucial here, this tile, I think we don't want, even if she would now activate and flip one over, we would have at least the possibility to wait for another turn before this one. Because if this goes, then I think all hope is lost actually. But okay, that was it. Then we have to bring out another ghost, and that's a green one. That's a tough one. I think totally we will place the green ghost in here, which means this Buddha is gone, but so is the ghost. It doesn't trigger anything. It's simply out of the game for good. So that wasn't bad at all actually. And then that's the end of our turn, and then we would take those neutral tokens, but we have taken those already. And then again, we would move again around the board. Nothing to gain, nothing to lose there. That's really weird. It's really weird. And then we are moving back to our board. Again, we will roll for her. The good thing is we do have the neutral power tokens, which would allow me to use the power of the green Taoist, which means then we could even re-roll the curse die. And that's another ghost. And I think there are worse things to deal with, because we have to live with a second result. So I guess bringing out another ghost is okay, unless it's not black or blue. But it's red, and that's a relatively easy one, the Skinner, which appears on, I think that's an okay one, I guess. So finally something useful here, but they will even start on the normal board. I think that's okay. That's really okay. Problem is, we are, I think, with the next thing we have to... Yeah, okay. This was only the activation of our Fury of Depth. We are not done with our Yin phase. Again, we will check for overrun. No overrun here, otherwise we would be dead. And then we are bringing out a new ghost, which is a green one. And yeah, as long as this ghost is active, I believe we are no longer able to use the special power. Yes, 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 that's the case. And we are also, this guy comes with an additional ghost. Are you kidding me? Okay, that's really bad. So a lot of nasty things will happen. So this ghost will appear in one of those spaces. It's a relatively easy one, so I guess we are bringing it down here, the Fallen Monks. It comes with a new ghost right away. That's a yellow one, the tough one, which also rolling the die. Okay, we are pretty much toast now. And again, there is nothing basically that will help us here. So we have brought out the ghost. Then we have to deal with this tile. So we have to cover up this space here, which means we can no longer use this until this ghost is being defeated. It's an easy one, that's for sure. But it's not great. It's really not great. But I think those were, or this was the whole Yin phase. So now the board is developing like I expected would. Actually, so we have ghosts pretty much everywhere. It was really weird for a while. But then we are moving into our Yang phase. So we are taking our actions. And I guess before we move, we will again use the special power of the yellow player. And I guess, do we want to get rid of it? I think we have to, because we need the special power of the green player. So we are going for a green token. So that's pretty much an auto success. We still have to fight it, but it's okay. Then we are moving down here. Now it's really bad that we don't have an easy ghost here, because we could try to beat them both. But then again, nothing to gain here from this tile, which is kind of a bummer. So we have to exercise the Fallen Monks. Again, because we have a green token, that's an auto win, but maybe we can hold on to it. So let's see. So one green, one white. Okay, two whites, that's good enough. So we have taken care of this ghost. That's at least something, which means we are uncovering this tile here. So we can use the reroll power of the green player again, which is incredibly valuable. And that's the end of our turn, right? We don't have any Buddhas. No, they're basically both back in the reserve, and this tile is haunted. That's definitely a bummer. Then we are moving to the green player. Nothing to do. We have the red player. Again, we will check for overrun. We will check for the power, so they will move one space ahead. Apart from that, nothing will happen. The next space, they will go for the Sorcerer's Hut, which is a problem. Then we are moving to the yellow player, where there is a Lich waiting for us. So we are rolling the curse die here, and I think we will use the special power of the green player now. We will re-roll it. Again, losing another location would be incredibly bad. They don't have a, that's a cool thing where it's really specifically mentioned in the solo rules. When the neutral player playing this one, it's pretty much like a blank. So wow, that was definitely worth it, spending the neutral power token here. Amazing. That's basically it for the yellow player. We are moving back to our board, where we also have to roll the curse die here. And again, if we are rolling this is bad. It's a new turn, so we can use our last neutral token. If we are losing this, we would lose the game. And that's a ghost. I think I'm okay with a ghost right now. So let's see what we get. And that's the severed heads. And the severed heads, yeah, okay. It will lock one of our dice. And it will, oh no, we lose the game, no. Oh, you're kidding me. I will tell you why. So first of all, the severed head will steal one of our dice. Okay, that's blocked here. Like in Eldritch Horror or the Elder Sign, where there are cards that, or monsters that will more or less eat your dice. That's the same thing here for the severed heads. But that's okay. That's still okay. Then we are bringing out a new ghost. That's also still manageable unless it's a black or a blue ghost, and it's a red ghost, which is the Reaper. And the Reaper, I think he's protected from all of those dice. So we can only defeat the Reaper with basically one red tail token. That's okay-ish. We will place the guy in a corner location because it's an easy one. So again, there could be a potential thing to defeat them both, but rest assured that's basically game over, because again, this was only the die from the Fury of Depth. This was the special ability of our ghost. Next we will check for the board overrun, and guess what? 1, 2, 3. Yes, we have an overrun, which means we are losing our last chi point, and this also means we have lost our one and only Taoist on the board, and that's game over. Again, all those neutral players, they could have died. Or if the green player would have lost the last chi token, we would simply place this on their board, and then it's basically game over. Nothing else we couldn't use. We would still use the boards, of course, but the special power would be out. Apart from that, we would still be okay. Even if all 3 neutral players are toast, we would still be allowed to move on. But because it was our board, yeah, this was pretty much game over. I'm now really wondering what happened if I would have rolled this die here. If it's a blank, it's good. Everything else, no, would be the same thing. The re-roll, yes, of course, I know it's Schrödinger's die right now. Anything could have rolled here, but in this case, yeah, even if a re-roll, we would have immediately lost the game. And maybe if this would have been another ghost, so let's check it out, this would have been totally fine. Totally fine. It's a difficult ghost, the green abomination. Doesn't come with any lingering effects or entrance effect, and it even comes with a cool reward of 2 of those Tau tokens. This would have been totally fine. We would be able to get rid of this, relatively certain about this. But yeah, in this case, this was a very interesting experience, and honestly, I'm thinking about doing it again. Maybe, of course, I will reshuffle the thing. Maybe I will also use different Taoists, a different monk down here, but I will let you decide if you want me to do another run using the solo mode in here. It would be also okay if you would say, nah, let's go for a 2-player game, for example, instead of a solo game or whatever. Then I would simulate 2 players. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I could also consider going for a full 4-player game, actually. It will simply take a little bit longer than that. That's the cool thing, because it's relatively crisp, the solo game, because again, you're removing 15 cards from that deck. Yeah, but again, I will let you decide if you want me to do another solo run. Again, I would be okay doing a 2-player run. If you would prefer those, just let me know. Leave a comment here or wherever you see the video, on BGG, Facebook, you name it. And I will consider this accordingly. It's definitely a ton of fun, this game. I really always forget how much fun it is. I always forget how much I hate this game, especially when the dice are not rolling in my favor. You remember this one roll where I didn't roll a single. I only needed 1 white or a black result, and it didn't come, of course. And yeah, ultimately, I think I may have been really extremely unlucky in respect to where the ghost came out so soon. I was totally okay. I had so many chi points at some point, but I also spent them like crazy here in the Sorcerer's Hut at least twice and in other scenarios. So I went down pretty damn fast. And yeah, with that being said, I still hope you enjoyed my rather short playthrough of Ghost Stories here. Hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And yeah, until then, bye bye.